What's up, guys? Jack here from Jack's Garage. It's been 2 years since my last upload. That's pretty crazy. But, yeah, so I figured I'd get back into this YouTube thing because it's been a minute, and I figured I'd fill you guys in with what I've been doing. So, some of you guys probably follow my TikTok. So you guys have noticed a lot of different things that have not been on the YouTube channel. What's different on the TikTok than the YouTube channel? Well, since my last video was posted, I finished that 7.3 build. I got done. I got bored of it, sold it. Went through 20-something trucks. Dead serious. Bought it back. Then I totaled it. And then I got a 6.7. And then some stuff happened with that. And then I got a 6.0, another truck I used to own, actually. I used to own the 6.0. Got the 6.0, same way I left it. Bone stock, no bed. Built that, little American Forces, some bodywork, etc. Lift. And then I sold that. Bought a police car. Then another brush fire truck. And then I bought a 6.4, bone stock. And I did a lot to it, but we'll get into that in a minute. So what else have you guys missed? There's been a lot. So I've gone through collectively now 45 different vehicles between trucks, fire trucks, police cars, etc. And my current vehicle right here is my 6.4 that I built. And yeah, here we go. 6.4. So in this video, there's supposed to be a different video posted today, actually. The video was where I trade this for not running 6.0, but that's another story for another video. If we can make that happen. The 6.0 is actually one of my old trucks, and the 6.0 was in like 3 hours away, and it had to get shipped down here, and there's some problems with the shipper. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen anymore, because I am not going to pick this thing up, and I might trade it for a different 6.0. But basically, the grand goal right now is to get rid of the 6.4 and get another 6.7 in the grand scheme of things and build the 6.7. But in this video, I want to go over why I love 6.4 so much and everybody hates them. So let's get into that. So right here is my current 6.4. I built this truck from bone stock. If my key fob will work here, the battery's like dead. Come on. Whatever. But I built this truck from bone stock. I got it. No bed. It had a flat bed on it. The guy took it off when I got it. Stock suspension. Stock everything. So I got it. We did some weight reduction. And custom powder coated lift. This is a 2.5 lift. We've got powder coated springs, powder coated sway bar, tire rod, lift blocks, etc. In the rear, we've got the springs got powder coated. They're filthy right now. The frame got cleaned up. It's all really dirty on here right now. But everything's powder coated. We've got 6.7 lariat rims, 35 needle ridge graps. Yeah, truck's got a couple things could use, like needs manifolds, but now I love 6.4s. I absolutely love them. This is my third 6.4. I prefer the 6.4 over any other power stroke. The only reason I want another 6.7 is because I want a newer truck, and I just like the comfortability of the 6.7 more. But otherwise, 6.4s are my favorites. I like the looks, the sound, everything of the 6.4. So first things first with the 6.4. This is an XLT. It's a 2008. The interior, I'm not a big fan of cloth interiors in the general, but this has a cloth XLT interior. The dash is slightly different from the Lariats. The Lariats have a white background and more heads-up display. This truck's tuned by an SCTX4 with custom tunes. A lot of my junk's in here right now, but let's start it up. I'll show you guys a sound clip. This truck is on a custom non-VGT tune with stock everything else besides the weight reduction. No glow plugs. Oh, she's cold. There we go. have a manifold leak, as I said, needs manifolds. You kind of hear the tick over here. So you kind of hear that. Another thing I did with this truck that I really like is my rock lights set on. So whenever I turn on my park lights or my headlights, all my rock lights turn on. So, and the mirrors, these are Lumen Duty Lariat mirrors. The puddle lights light up my company name at night. There's a rock light in there too. Alpha Rex headlights. The other thing with the rock lights and all my lights, on my key fob, when you press the unlock button, everything turns on. It looks like a spaceship at night. It's pretty sick. But now let's take it for a ride and I'll do some explaining here. And another thing I like about the 6.4 is these trucks will go into high idle when it's cold automatically, which is pretty nice. Comfortability wise, it is decent, but as I said, I like the 6.7 better with the heated cooled seats and all that, because I did have a 6.7 Lariat. I've owned all the powerstrokes, actually. I've had 873s, 460s, 364s, my third one, and a 6.7, about to be 2 6.7s. So I do like how this truck rides. It's a little bumpy at times. It's got Bilstein shocks, plus the lift kit. And I will take it for a little ride. I'll get you guys some sound clips with the non-VGT. So technically it's not a true non-VGT because it's got stock compounds in it. But with the tune I have and what I've done to it, it acts and sounds like a non-VGT. So I'm not going to get into it here because I'm on my road and I don't want to piss off my neighbors. But we'll go for a quick little ride and get you guys some sound clips. I will say right now it is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so all the kids are getting out of school, so I do have to be courteous of where I do lay into the truck, but I will try and do my best to get you guys some good sound clips over here. As you can see, it almost sounds like a 6.0, which is pretty cool, but it's a little raspier than 6.0. Now, if it was a true single turbo 6.4, it would sound a lot louder than it is now, but it sounds pretty cool either way. Now, if you love your 6.4 and you don't want it to blow up, I highly recommend you don't do this, unless, you have a death wish on your truck. I do at times. It's okay though. I love my 6.4. But yeah, so this is a non-VGT tune with the VGT unplugged on the stock compounds. It also spools up like a single turbo. It's very interesting, but I wouldn't run it unless you have a non-VGT tune. I have a custom tune on this truck actually for this reason. I've been running it like this for maybe a month now, and I haven't had any issues with it. But to each his own. Now, personally, 6.0 over 6.4, they're both known to be horrible engines. Now, my philosophy is if you get either, you do the proper things to it, they'll last longer. They both perform very well. But personally, I prefer the 6.4 because the 6.4 comes factored with compounds. Now, you don't like the compounds. Okay, single turbo, swap it. You can put a massive single turbo on a 6.4. For instance, there's this guy I know on TikTok and YouTube. Some of you guys might be familiar with him, Mikey Perino. He's running a 72 millimeter, I think, on a stock internal 6.4 dually. It's pretty sick. It's quite the truck. You know, we love seeing Mikey Perino's truck. It's a very rowdy truck. Now, I will say my truck is pretty rowdy too. I beat the average and you know what out of this thing. And it takes my abuse for the most part. I haven't really had any breakdowns or just leave me stranded once the whole time I've owned this truck. I've owned it for about 4 months now, with it getting beaten on almost daily. So, I mean, that's pretty good. My form of abuse isn't just like hitting the gas pedal a little hard. You know, I abuse this thing pretty heavily, and it takes it. Now, personally, both 6.0s and 6.4s have their pros and cons, but I prefer the 6.4. If you're going to spend the money on either, I mean, to each his own. You know, if you like 6.0s, get a 6.0, right? But if you like 6.4s, get a 6.4. But if you haven't owned a 6.4 and you own a 6.0 and you want to get a 6.4, I would most definitely make the move. I mean, I love my 6.4, and after owning all the power strokes, I can tell you from experience, I like the 6.4s better than the 6.0s. And the 7.3s at that. I've owned 8 7.3s now, and I'm a big fan of the 6.4s. I mean, the only thing I think 6.7's got on 6.4s is the more fact that they won't melt the piston, which I've not melted a piston in the 3 6.4s I've owned. But I will say, I like the 6.4s the best. Besides, you know, 6.7's looks and comfortability, I want an Illumi-Duty, but that's years down the road. I can't afford an Illumi-Duty right now. I'll be the first to tell you. But, you know, one day we'll get there. One day I'll have an Illumi-Duty and I'll build that thing to be pretty sick. But, we'll see what the next week brings, because this truck is up for sale or trade. As I said, I would like to get back to another 6.7. You know, something a little newer, something a little nicer. But, yeah. So, as I said, this truck is just weight reduced with a non-VGT tune and the VGT unplugged. So, we also might have some more caddy content soon enough. I don't have the 6-wagon anymore, but that'll be a near future thing too. Next couple of years, the 6-wagon will make a comeback, I'm sure. But yeah, I just got into my driveway here, and I think that's it for this video. We will see what happens with the 6.0. As I said, I want to get my old one back, but if that falls through, I've got another one, and we'll do a little 6.0 Power Stroke review, and I'll give you guys some know-how and intel with 6.0s, and you know, also weigh some pros and cons with the 6.0, and I'll tell you what I think of that versus this when another one is actually in my possession. And yeah, you know, expect, of course, more trading, buying, selling, some diesel work content, of course, on any 6.0, 6.4, 7.3, 6.7, or even some Duramaxes maybe in the near future. I have not owned a Cummins yet. I've had 3 of the Duramaxes. I like the LMMs the best personally, but I would like a 2015 and up LML. Maybe an L5P wouldn't hurt. But, you know, we'll see what's down the road. I mean, I plan to bring you guys lots of content now. I haven't done it in a while. But, yeah. So, the next video, I'd say, next couple days, whatever happens with this, we'll make a little, you know, little trade-off video. It's possible it could even happen tonight. If we can work things out with that 6.0, it might even happen tonight. I don't know. But, stay tuned for the next video. Till then, I just want to say this video is also sponsored by SiltLife.com. For all your diesel power merch, hit up Silt Life. They have some great looking shirts and stuff. And, yeah. Peace out.